Development Program, United Nations in Uganda, invites you to the launch of the country's National Sustainable Development Goals Roadmap 2021-2025. The SDGs are the world's blueprint to achieve a better and sustainable future for all by 2030, leaving no one behind. The Right Honourable Robina Nabanja, Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda, will preside over the launch of the roadmap on Wednesday, the 15th of September 2021, starting at 8:30 a.m. The launch will be telecast live on UBC TV. Attendance is by invitation only.
Hello and welcome to the weekly business roundup with me, your host, Wadulo Arnold. Thank you for tuning in, and we're glad that you're part of the program. We're coming to you from Kampala Serena Hotel. Now straight to the highlights. Namamve Thermal Power Plant is set to be handed over to government. We also share with you teachers' plight during the COVID-19 pandemic. Bank of Uganda supports digital financial technologies and iSkills, venturing into Africa to skill youth in online work. For these and more, stay tuned. It's time for business. Bank of Uganda has committed to support the digital financial technologies to build a dependable infrastructure for data safety. Let's have a look at the report.
The Central Bank is working on the National Payment Systems Act to build the trust and integrity of the financial digital platforms.
And integrators like Pegasus and many other fintechs. So the law is largely about that. It says how you come in, how you're expected to behave, and how you can exit. It is supported by 3 regulations so far.
At the 3rd annual FITSPA FinTech Conference of 2021, Central Bank assured stakeholders on the infrastructure development aimed at creating a central shared data processing center to reduce the cost of running these digital platforms.
Issues of interoperability, connectivity issues, digital financial literacy. So all this cannot be done by the Central Bank, but has to be done in a collaboration.
Bankers in Uganda have registered tremendous achievements of financial inclusion in their partnerships with digital platforms.
Fintechs are very important enablers. They are partners in all our strategy sessions today more than ever. We plan with them in mind and to work together. And therefore the word collaboration.
The discussion to engage stakeholders on policy, regulation and consumer protection covered the 3rd FITSPA annual conference of 2021. The conference held on the theme, Building a Safe and Regulated Ecosystem.
How do we sustain the adoption and growth in the usage of these digital platforms in a safe manner?
There are several hiccups against new innovations, plus blanket regulations that still hinder the appreciation of digital economy in Uganda.
To create a unified voice for the Uganda fintech ecosystem to engage varied stakeholders on policy, regulation, and varied other issues.
Experts want an independent shared fund to support infrastructure development.
On how to put together a fund that we all contribute to, all players, whether banks, fintechs, MNOs, all those in the payments ecosystem, so that we build this fund and it addresses certain benchmarks.
To appreciate fintechs in Uganda, there is a need to create borderless platforms and greater scalability to enable the availability of financial services that were once expensive or scarce. Abdul Nasser Lubama, UBC News.
Namamve Thermal Power Plant is set to be handed over to government after the expiry of the implementation agreement with a private player, Jacobsen AS of Norway. Uganda Electricity Generation Company will undertake operation and maintenance of the facility from the 15th of this month.
In 2007, at the peak of load shedding, Government of Uganda and Jacobsen AS of Norway entered into a build, own, operate and eventually transfer implementation agreement for a term of 13 years, wherein Jacobsen Electro undertook to build, operate and maintain a 50 megawatts heavy fuel oil thermal plant. The contract, which had been extended for an additional 1 year, is nearing its end.
We are hoping that we shall have it, but just in case we encounter a challenge, there are provisions that can be evoked to make sure that we don't face or hit a hard rock. But in the 12-month extension that was done, we were able to receive the due diligence report. It was submitted to us, we discussed it, we forwarded copies to Jacobsen, they also went through it. At least that was key, and it's not something that you can do within a week to come up with a report that picks everything that we have seen, including what is in the store. It was embedded in the report.
On the 15th of September, the power plant located at Namamve Chiwanga village is set to be officially handed over to government. Uganda Electricity Generation Company Limited will take over as the implementation agency.
What that does for the country, of course, is ensure we are building our capacity, but also it goes in a way to ensure that we are managing aspects to do with the cost and resultant tariff from the plant. So that is something that we will be focusing on in the coming days and ensuring that we bring it to a logical conclusion.
Now the B and O phases are over. Now we are at the transfer stage, and what that means is that UEGCL, as a government company mandated to own all generation assets on behalf of government, it means we have to come in and own this asset on behalf of government.
Its handover is estimated to save government about 8 billion shillings per year, enhance UEGCL's capacity to independently operate and maintain power plants, as well as reduce generation tariff by 18%. Dennis Igor for UBC Business.
Uganda Tourism Board has just concluded a rapport tour visit of some underdeveloped tourism sites in Acholi sub-region in northern Uganda with the intent to partner with local communities and investors to make the sites world-class tourism hotspots. Let's take a look. With a long-standing history of violence and political unrest, Acholi sub-region can now boast of increasing economic activity due to government peacekeeping initiatives. This has made the region a high priority on Uganda Tourism Board's tourism agenda.
Those days we are having problem security because of the Konyi War, but now we have the security is now stable. It's now stable, and second, the Ministry of Tourism also have recruited a security officer. We have one. They are on top of the tour guide. We work with them. Also, we work with the OC Police or Particle Post, also is near with us, and the GISO.
The UNESCO General Assembly Convention of 1972 stipulates that sites such as these ought to be protected by the state. However, their underdevelopment is due to the region's prior insecurity that led to encroachment on the tourism sites over the years, a concern for many local communities in Acholi who hold high cultural attachment to these sites.
In the past, this site is where the Lord Resistance Army Commander Joseph Kony came and performed his ritual here. I've learned from my grandfather that he slaughters a white sheep here to perform his spiritual beings. And even in the past, when LRA want to attack a nearby center here, they first come and they seek for permission from these hot springs. But now, since people have encroached in it, we need to go to a rightful mechanism in ensuring that the place is protected.
The site hasn't been developed. When I say developed, I mean the surrounding site to host visitors. We haven't got the required infrastructure.
One of the greatest challenges is, of course, access to these tourism sites. The fact that the areas haven't been developed is challenging the potential to tourism. But Uganda Tourism Board is trying its best to establish, relationships with these communities to make sure that they can improve these sites.
Yes, as government, as UTB, we are a facilitator. We don't go directly into development, but definitely it's our role to look for partners. It can be a PPP, that is public-private partnership. It can also be a private sector intervention only.
For a very long time, tourism has been viewed as a fun and lively activity, which it is, but also there is an element of it in regards to sustainability, conservation, and I think that this is an area where the media could help us to take to the public.
Heavy public and private sector investment is due if the tourism potential in Acholi sub-region is to be realized. Uganda Tourism Board is working with Uganda Wildlife Conservation Education Center, Uganda Wildlife Authority, along with community leadership to map out various high-potential sites to add on northern Uganda's tourism itinerary. Wadulo Arnold for UBC News in Gulu District. Relatedly, the Tourism Board has also sealed a deal with the Uganda Electricity Generation Company Limited to include hydropower sites on the national tourist attractions. The parties intend to promote infrastructural tourism.
I'm sure if we continue doing this, all of us will see the need and the necessity of having the two being pursued on the same table.
The magnificent synergy and waters are among the qualities to include hydropower sites on the radar of the national tourist attraction sites.
We need more numbers, we need more time of people to spend in the country or in particular locations. But then not just going to spend the time, you need to keep them busy, you need to keep them, give them experiences. So having such facility gives a great opportunity, especially in this region.
Uganda Electricity Generation Company Limited has perceived it significant to embrace partnerships to promote power sites as tourist destination.
We decided to diversify and look at other sources of income. And one of the sources of income we thought would be using our facilities for tourism purposes. If you go to other countries like China, to the Three Gorges Dam, which is the largest hydropower plant in the world, you will be amazed by the number of tourists visiting that facility.
Apart from wildlife, culture, the tourism board in Uganda is embarking on infrastructure tourism for favorable competition in the dynamic industry.
Today, tourism has taken a preponderant role in practically all the economies of Africa and the world over. So you have your power station, and the tourism sector is going to market the attractions associated with that power station.
The partnership is for 3 years to market the two generating stations of 600 megawatts of Kaluma and that of Isimba.
Part of our strategic plan was to diversify our revenue income sources. So our main revenue income source, like you all know, is the selling electricity. We generate and sell electricity to the Uganda Electricity Transmission Company.
Tourism being Uganda's leading foreign exchange earner, the standardization of tourism products and services demands public, private and non-state actors. Abdul Nasili Luwama and Nsamba Juma for UBC News.
The education sector has been severely affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Thousands of teachers continue to struggle to make ends meet. Now, our reporter Saddam Mobale interacted with some teachers who are bearing the brunt of the lockdown measures on their sector.
After the outbreak of COVID-19, the most affected sector was education, which to date remains shut until further notice. On the onset of viewers, it looks normal as the rain wets the ground and the new day rises in Kireka Banda, Kampala suburb. But for Ouma Anthony, it's another day for struggle to cope up with the new challenges as the day breaks. Omuna, who is a secondary teacher, was chased out of his rented house by his landlords for failure to pay rental dues and sought for accommodation to this school, where the school administration block has become his new home for the last quarter of the year. But it's not just Omuna living this difficult life. The 25-year-old Wilson Omoit, a primary teacher at one of the primary schools in Kireka, is unlucky too. His house that was given to him by a friend is submerged with water following today's heavy downpour, and is in rush to save his family from drowning.
To pick the family, and the family I'm with it. Some are there, they have remained there inside, 2 of them. They are there inside. I don't know the way I'm going to get them out. So the situation is not all that good. The situation is bad. But before Corona came, I was a bit good when my job was there. But since I lost the job, now I'm now suffering, just suffering. And even that house, it's just a good Samaritan who just gave it to me to stay in it.
Omoit is now stranded with his family, with no place to go.
And if it floods, water collects inside the house. Well, last time we slept in a bad way. Even today, I don't know where I'm going to sleep with the family. So this is kind of the situation. I think the president is watching UBC. I know the president is knowing the situation that we are passing through.
There are 2 rooms.
One is yours, one is for them.
One is mine, one is his.
Meanwhile, Omuna Anthony is out on his daily new workplace, a car wash in Buya Kireka in Kampala, to earn his daily bread.
I go and I construct. So if I get a chance of getting someone who can help me, who can call me for the job, I go. When I don't have that chance, which means that I will miss for the whole day. And which means that in a month, I will get one person who will call me for the work.
Being in here, okay, I left the village just to come and take care of them here. So now down the road, 4 months, I've not been paying, and you cannot tell a landlord anything of that sort. He has been patient with me and decided to lock my things in the house.
He narrates that his new job has come with challenges.
I recall that time whereby one of my students whom I taught brought the car here accidental and found me here washing the car. So this student here had to shed tears and told me, "Master, don't touch my car," and just gave me what? Gave me money. That's one of the things. Then the other one is the community. That's where they perceive you now. They perceive as if now we become now laughing stock. You can't speak English where they are.
His new workmates narrates how a secondary teacher came to them asking for a job. The chairperson for Banda Zone, Salongo Kingi Michael, attests that several cases for teachers associated with rent defaults have been submitted to his office, and this has smeared the teaching profession with a bad image in society.
So even up to paying house rent, it is a problem to them. Again, they have resolved to see another work whereby they can fit, but all in all, they need assistance from the government artist to intervene with these private teachers, because as they are now, they are in which cases I wish I never became a teacher. I wish I took another career. I would have survived.
era kati nze kyemmanyi abaana kati kizibu nnyo okwegomba okufuuka abasomesa okusinziira ku bulamu bwe balaba mu basomesa.
The plight of teachers is indeed worrying, and perhaps it's the right time for the stakeholders to perhaps take a step. But just like you can see right behind me, this here is a resident where 2 teachers are currently living, but because of rains, the entire place has been submerged with water. Sada Mubale, UBC News.
Part of the launch of the new National SDG Roadmap 2021-2025.
We can be, we must be.
The generation that starts the journey of repairing the earth. It's possible. We have the roadmap.
The global goals, a 15-year plan that includes each and every one of us with the intention of
leaving no one behind.
The government of Uganda, through the Office of the Prime Minister, in partnership with the United Nations in Uganda, invites you to the launch of the country's National Sustainable Development Goals Roadmap 2021-2025. The SDGs are the world's blueprint to achieve a better and sustainable future for all by 2030, leaving no one behind. The Right Honourable Robina Nabanja, Prime Minister of the Republic of Uganda, will preside over the launch of the roadmap on Wednesday, the 15th of September 2021, starting at 8:30 a.m. The launch will be telecast live on UBC TV. Attendance is by invitation only.
The National Social Security Fund has inaugurated its 12th Board of Directors for the next 3 years. The board will be headed by Dr. Peter Chimboa.
This opportunity to inaugurate the board and wish you the best success.
The 10 members inaugurated on the NSSF board include Dr. Peter Chimboa from the private sector as the chairman, 4 members representing trade unions, 2 representing employers, 1 from the Ministry of Gender, 1 from Ministry of Finance, and 2 representing employers through the Federation of Uganda Employers.
I have all the confidence in you. Work out, build where you have the fund, and we have a very vibrant institution, which, as I've told you, it's a basket of money where I can go to borrow. Instead of going to borrow outside the country, I borrow from here because there is those funds are around, and our money begins to circulate around, and when it circulates around, it even now grows big and bigger. The beneficiaries, you get better and better returns.
Minister Saija wants the new board to reshape the fund's investment portfolio to match the current digital advancement.
Together with management, I have confidence that you will able to execute this mandate over the next 3 years. Now, as I told you, this fund is a basket of Uganda where people have saved money, taking for when they retire.
The incoming board chair, Dr. Peter Chimboa, has replaced Patrick Byabakama Kaberenge and commits to leverage on technology.
At the cusp of the 5th Industrial Revolution, where artificial intelligence, data and analytics, and the Internet of Things, and what today we call the artificial intelligence of things, has become part of our daily professional lives.
The new board comes at a time of providing leadership while exploiting the NSSF Act of 2019, which is still under review, governing the mid-term acquisition of savings by the beneficiaries.
They would like a retirement product, which is what we offer, but they also would like a mid-term access product. They would like to care for things like fees, they would like to care for things like medical, things like housing. We can't do those things now, but we know our customers want them. We are very sure that once this law comes, we'll be able to provide them. So, the board that you've given us, Honourable Minister,
worth 15.4 trillion shillings invested in fixed income, equities and real estates within East Africa region. Abdul Nasir Luwama for UBC News.
More and more youth-centric employment opportunities are opening up as the world technologically advances. Now iSkills, a Pakistani-founded company, is now in Africa and is utilizing the internet platform to skill and employ thousands of youth across the globe. iSkills, a Pakistani-founded company, is rolling out its virtual e-entrepreneurship training program with an aim to leverage the growing and available youth workforce in Africa while addressing unemployment.
You know, all these things are free. Let's say Facebook, YouTube, Google, they're for free for the general public consumption, but actually they are not free. All these platforms are basically advertisement platforms. So what they are doing, they are advertising the ads, they are using the consumers to know their interest, and they are pushing them the right advertisements.
Tanvir Nandla and Mahar Sajid of iSkills have since 2006 grown to focus on enabling employment for the educated but unemployed youth.
I thought that I should start sharing my knowledge with other people, especially fresh graduates who just came out of college, came out of university, and make them enable to start making money. Now, with the blessing of Almighty, we have around 4,000 graduate students, and as I told you, they have made around 4 billion PKR, Pakistani rupees, in total. So yeah, we have made quite a difference. Like few of them are earning like $15,000 a month, even $25,000 a month, and they are providing employment opportunities to hundreds of others, like to their near and dear ones.
According to the duo, Pakistan now earns over $2 billion a year in international remittance through online work, an opportunity that African economies ought to leverage.
Pakistan literacy rate is 56%, but what I have seen in Uganda, the literacy rate is 76%. From these services, that freelancing and digital marketing platforms, the Pakistan is earning $2 billion in terms of foreign remittances. So this can help also the Ugandan economy and Ugandan government, because once they have the youth, they have empowered them and they are earning a lot of money from the online skills. Google, Amazon, Baba, Facebook, all these platforms, they are sending to those people, and actually those people are earning money. That is the first thing. And the country is also earning money in terms of dollars.
The most valuable companies in the world today, like Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Facebook and Google, heavily rely on internet-run technology for their success due to its efficiency. It is these same companies that iSkills is training their students to earn from.
You know, in USA, there is per hour labor rate is around $10 to $15. So they are bound to pay $10 to $15 per hour to any labor through which they get their task done. So in Africa, in any developing country, this is huge amount. You know, if someone gets paid $15 an hour, he's being paid good. Even if it is in Pakistan, if it is in India, even if it is in any African country.
The iSkills online work training course will be free and takes up to 6 months of 2 hourly classes a week. Enrollers are advised to check the iSkills social media pages on both Facebook and LinkedIn and should have at least a degree to be admitted.
LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, we have the registration links available there. Our priorities are to enroll those people for free that they are really interested and wanted to invest the time in that.
Wadulo for UBC Business.
We are developing nations and there are avenues for cooperation. I have always said that what we need to do is for developing countries to make up for each other's deficiencies and be able to drive their industrialization process. It is not possible for us to look up to Europe and America and Asia actually to be able to have the kind of development, the kind of industrialization that will be beneficial to the people. It is good that you relate with those who have your own aspiration, who have your own ambition, who have your own interests, and who also need what you have. so that you can mutually engage and benefit.
As we come to the end of the program, remember, your network is your net worth. If you want to soar high like an eagle, I suggest that you hang around birds that actually fly high, but not the chicken. Thank you for being a part of the weekly business roundup with me, your host, Wadulo Arnold. We're coming to you from the Kampala Serena Hotel. From the team, we must say good night and catch us next time.
I smile when I think of you, Uganda.